Vinny Tortorich here. Hey man, if you're a fan of Izzy, you might be a fan of me too. I'm the guy that gets people to lose a lot of weight. I have something free for you guys. This is no clickbait. Just go to vinnytortorich.com and there's a big banner. It's a free PDF, how to lose weight. It's an intro guide to NSNG at vinnytortorich.com. Go check it out exclusively for anyone who listens to Izzy Presley. Thank you.
RockstarLeatherworks.com is your home for badass rock and roll gear. Featuring 100% handmade leather bands, watches, cuffs, bracelets, and more, Rockstar Leatherworks has something for everybody. Whether you are going to the show or you are in it, you can find something to fit your needs. Choose from a variety of designs or create your own masterpiece. Their bands and watches are second to none. They also ship internationally. Who needs a stage to be a rock star? Check out RockstarLeatherworks.com.
Hey ladies, Sass Pants Designs will take that band shirt that everyone has and make it your own in a flattering, sassy, and simple way. There are one-of-a-kind tank tops, halter tops, lace-up tees, and tube top dresses already in stock. Check out the online store at sasspantsrocks.com and like Sass Pants Designs on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter for special offers and custom orders. Use the code IZZY25 for 25% off of your entire order at sasspantsrocks.com. That's sasspantsrocks.com. Let Sass Pants make you the envy of the party.
Replay Guitar Exchange is your premier independent guitar store. Being independent is good. With all of the major brands, including new, vintage, and pre-owned, you can find the guitar, bass, amp, or accessory you are dreaming of. From vintage to the newest models, Replay Guitar Exchange can help you find that perfect piece. They have industry veteran expert staff, all players like you down to the owner. You aren't just getting a great guitar, you're getting the Replay difference. Find them online at replayguitar.com and find your dream guitar today.
Hi, this is Bobby Brown, and welcome to another fucking podcast.
My liver's all twisted up. But you know what I did? I loaded up with alcohol, more specifically vodka, whiskey, beer, tequila, more beer, more vodka, more whiskey, and more beer.
Who wants an orange whip? Orange whip? Orange whip? 3 orange whips.
So you're bored, are ya? I've come here to break your monotony. Let me have my piece, because I'm shooting with this one, folks. I don't care, man.
The unscripted, uncensored, loose cannon of commentary.
Why did you say that? Why? Why? You come out with stink like that? Poop. Poop mouth. Poop out of your mouth.
See, son? Old legends never die. They just lose weight.
Like a legend and an out-of-work bum look a lot alike, Daddy.
I've got a midget friend, an albino friend, and another friend who thinks Lord of the Rings is real. Together we call ourselves the Unfuckables.
Quinton is in. Let the fun begin.
Body touch.
God, you're an asshole, man.
I've never heard of Van Halen.
Hello, Hollywood. Hello, world. And hello, my loyal minions. It is good to see you. And as always, good to be seeing Izzy Presley here. This week's edition of another fucking podcast, Drunken Summit Style, like we've been doing for the past few months. And this week we talked about the king of rock and roll, because it technically is Elvis week. So fuck it, why not? We're going to have some fun. I got a great round of guests lined up for you guys. Make sure you guys do hit up all the social media at Real Izzy Presley all the way across the board. Hey, no relation. Okay. Show page is another effing podcast. I got t-shirts available. Click that the Teespring link, the shop now link. And also, if you want one of the retro jersey tees that are only $20, get those on eBay. Click the link, buy one. You've seen it posted all over. Next week, I have no idea what we're doing. In 2 weeks, we'll be talking Kevin Smith, the Kevin Smith movies. I have been bugging him every day on Twitter about casting me in Twilight of the Mallrats. And why not kiss his ass even more by doing a full podcast talking about his great flicks. All right, let's do this. Let's bring our esteemed round of guests in. Ladies and gentlemen, from Robin Thicke and New Kids on the Block? Is that who you played with? Oh, it was insane.
Backstreet Boys.
Backstreet Boys. There you go. And also the lead guitar player and my co-writing partner in this country band that's going to be called Wildwood Tommy. I've changed the name of the band. Wildwood Tommy. Yes, Joe Augello. Returning to the show, Andre Comeau. We know him from, yes, The Real World Season 1 And he might be involved in this country thing. We don't know. We'll see. We'll see. And my good buddy, Anthony Shore, he's a world-renowned Elvis tribute artist, and I actually managed him for a little while. I was his colonel, Tom Parker, back in my Minnesota days, and this is how brilliant I was. Because I was booking him, I actually booked myself to open for him, just so I could fucking play.
Did you take 50%?
No, I didn't have that. I didn't have that kind of a deal with them. The band was called Larry Dallas and the Regal Beagles.
Oh, good old Larry.
How we doing, guys? Welcome to the show. Cheers. It is a Drunken Summit.
Cheers.
Get 'em up.
Cheers. All right, cheers.
What do you just drink, Izzy?
That was a shot of Jack Daniels.
Oh, good, man.
Nice.
Yeah, I didn't have a chance to go get any orange whips. I make an orange whip because I hosted 3 Sides of the Coin today.
Oh, boy.
At last minute. So, dude, let's start this off. I mean, let's talk about the King. What are your first Elvis memories?
Elvis, my first memory, my dad left my mum when I was a kid. Oh, no, start the violin going for you. And I found a cassette tape, and it was a song called My Boy. And on another one was The Edge of Reality. And I just listened to it, and I was like, holy shit, what is this?
Nah.
And I was hooked ever since. 3 years old, probably.
That's one of the best ones. One of my favorites.
Great song. It was a French song originally, you know.
Really?
Parce que je t'aime mon enfant, parce que je t'aime mon enfant. Yeah, that's about all I know in French, but yeah, it was. And the same guy wrote My Way, the original version of My Way, Claude Francois. Yeah.
I thought Paul Anka wrote that.
Well, he says he did, but he just wrote the words.
He wrote the lyrics. David Bowie had like a hand in that too. He
did he?
Yeah, the French version. I think he sort of wrote part of it with that guy. So
wow.
Joe, what about you?
Well, my parents were huge Elvis fans, and they would go to all the Vegas engagements and stuff, and they went to all the Madison Square Garden shows. We lived in New York, and I was basically bred to be an Elvis fan. In fact, I think I was conceived in Las Vegas in like the 1972 summer festival, you know. But so I was born on April 3rd, 1973, and April 4th was when they showed the Aloha from Hawaii satellite for the first time in the USA. I think they did it in January, but we didn't get it until April 4th. So the day after I was born, the first music I ever heard was that. And I think that's, you know, sort of why I became a musician, and you know, they would dress me up as Elvis, and my dad, like, there's lots of videos going around of me when, you know, 4 or 5 years old doing my Elvis thing, you know, and I actually had tickets to see him. He was coming back to New York in 77, and the show was August 22nd. And I waited online with my mom for like 9 hours. That was when you had to wait at the venue, you know, for tickets. And we waited for like 9 hours. And I thought that was the show, like when we got up to the front of the line. And so I was excited the whole day. Everybody was complaining and fucking pissed off. And I was like, I'm going to see Elvis.
Sorry, I
okay,
made a pie.
I thought he fell.
Sorry.
So yeah, I thought that was going to be the show. So we got up to the front and they gave us tickets, and we started going home. And I was like, wait a second. I was like, I thought this was the show. I was 4 years old. And my mom was like, no, it's next month. And I was like, a month? You know, so every day I would like stare at the tickets on the refrigerator. And yeah, 6 days before the show, he died.
Do you still have the ticket?
Yes, I do.
Nice.
I have pictures of it, and his autograph too. My parents, I'll just go into the story, I guess. They were in Vegas one, I think it was 74, and they were at the night before Elvis's opening night. There was like a Dick Clark revival, rock and roll revival show or something, and they had it in the lounge, which is weird because those shows would never go in the lounge. And so my parents and their friends were sitting in the lounge waiting for the show to start, and they shut all the doors, which is something like they never do. and they locked all the doors, and there's all these security guys around. And, you know, my mom was like, what's going on? You know, it was like, they thought there was like, you know, some shootings or something, you know? And my dad's like, Elvis is here. He's in the crowd. And she's like, no, you wouldn't go to a show like this. So Dick Clark comes out, and he was like, you know, kind of amping up the crowd. And he said, listen, you know, I just want to make an announcement. We have someone here, someone very special. And, you know, please don't get excited, but just please leave him alone. He wants to enjoy the show. And he's like, whatever you do, don't bug him. And Elvis walked on the stage. He took the mic, and he says, bug me. So my dad ran up to him. My dad was like the first one, and he got his autograph. And it was on a napkin from the hotel. And on the back, I guess he was writing a note to Jackie Wilson. Jackie Wilson was in the hotel. I think he was like really, really sick. So yeah, so I have that. I have his autograph, and I have the ticket like framed. Wow. So.
All right, so we can stop this interview now then, because we're not going to beat that, are we?
Andre, before you go,
come on, Andre.
Andre, before you tell your story, Scotty from Canada is listening right now. And the fact that we have a playoff hockey game in the 5th overtime, and he's in Canada and he's watching and being distracted by the hockey game is very impressive. Very, very impressive. Andre, what about you?
Well, you know, I was 5 years old, and RCA had made a record that was, you know, on television. There was a television commercial for it, and you know, I heard Hound Dog, and you know, immediately I begged my mom to order this album. You know, it was just it was a double album, and it was. The cover was, I believe it was a picture from him, you know, from the Vegas, or excuse me, Aloha from Hawaii, with a blue background, and the cover.
Blue album with the yellow Elvis on it. I remember that one. I had that, yeah.
That's the one. I
remember those commercials.
Same here.
Loved it, and ever since, you know, I mean, I was a huge fan until, of course. When he died, I you know, I was 7 years old. I cried for days, and then you know, shortly thereafter got into, you know, Kiss and you know, heavier music. But no, Elvis was my absolutely my first, you know, rock star. You know, just I worshipped Elvis.
Well, it's funny
That's
that you
awesome.
say that's the record, because that's the record I remember from when I was a kid. Actually, I still have it. I don't have it here. It's with my records back home that I keep forgetting to bring back here. But that's part of my first memories as well. You
I
know,
totally remember that commercial
Hound
too.
Dog
That commercial was
and,
on all the
Teddy
time.
Bear. I think it was Teddy Bear was the one that I loved the most. I was fucking 4 years old. You know, ooh, Teddy Bear, yay! It's weird. So I went through this phase though too, where I remember where I was when he died, and we'll get into that later. But yeah, it's like there was this phase where it just wasn't on my radar at all. And it wasn't until 2004, I think, until I really got back into it. And obviously with my tattoos and everything that I've done, you know, doing the quote unquote tribute shows. I can't say that with Anthony here because he's,
oh, come on.
You know,
well, I met you, didn't I, Izzy?
Yeah.
Through
exactly.
something like that.
That's how I met you.
Yeah.
I was working for a radio station, and we were giving away a trip to Graceland. And our mutual friend, now his ex-wife, I reached out. I'm like,
which one?
Trish. It was Trish.
It
was Trish. And I'm like, look, we're doing this thing. We need an Elvis guy. And I had heard your videos, and I'm like, dude, this is gonna be this is the guy. You know, I put his band together. I did the fucking everything. And,
well, I'll tell you, I can remember the phone call, Izzy, pretty much verbatim. And you called me and said, hey, would you be willing to do this Elvis gig? And I said, yeah, but you're booked to do it. And he said, yeah. Can I tell it how you said it to me?
Please do.
And he said, well, no, I really love what you do. I love your voice. I love it. And he said, I really want you to do it. And I said, yeah, but you've already got the money. I said, you're already going to get paid to do it. I said, why don't you take the money? He said, because I suck. And that is what he said. And I said, but all right, but I felt kind of bad going in and taking the money, you know. And he says, well, I'll manage you, and like we'll work out a cut, and did that. And he put the band, and I still have that band, the same band. What?
That's
that must
awesome.
be 9 years, 10, 8 years.
No, it's not the same band because I think Al was the first bass player, wasn't he?
Yeah, Al was, yeah. But I've
Then I
still
brought
got
in
Jack,
Matt.
I've still got Pat.
Yep.
Kurt went to Nashville. All right, so I don't have the same band. It's like having I've had the same broom for years. I've only changed the handle 12 times and the brush twice.
Yeah, but what it was for me is I bought my mom the 68 Comeback deluxe edition DVD set that has everything, and I started watching that black leather sit down show #1, and I'm just like, holy fuck, what have I been missing? And boom, that's where it was. And then I actually stole it from my mom. I never gave it to her. But you know, it's like, yeah, that got me into it, and that you know, obviously working with Anthony, but you know, I've done some shows. I think the biggest one I did was on the Moody Blues Cruise when I had Frank Hannon as my Scotty Moore when we redid the 68 Comeback show #1. But yeah, it's like once you dive into it, you're fucking hooked. It's like Kiss Geeks. It's a lifestyle.
Well, you brought up Scotty Moore, and I just want to interject. What an amazing guitar player Scotty Moore was, and the solo in Hound Dog still to this day just blows me away. I will literally blast that song anytime I hear it. Not only is it, I mean, there are 2 amazing solos in that song, and both of them are so unique and so just dripping with style and class. I mean,
the attitude,
brilliant guitar solos. Some of the very best guitar solos by anyone ever.
Well, it changed the world, didn't it?
Yeah.
It changed the world.
It really did.
Yeah.
Well, the sound of that record, record, literally is it rivals any single to this day. It's such a badass.
Yeah. It feels like they're like all right in your face. It's like perfectly mixed. And it's funny when you listen to all the other records of that time, just the level of production, even like with the Beatles records. I mean, and I love the Beatles production, but I mean, you really feel like that those 3 guys are in the room with you, 4 guys are in the room with you, when you hear that, just the freaking snare drum. Oh man. And the bass,
Scotty, Bill, DJ, and Elvis.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, was Bill on that?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
I know Bill wasn't on a lot of the Sun stuff. He was brought in.
That wasn't Sun though. That was RCA.
That was RCA.
Yeah.
This was.
That's right.
That was post
that recording session right there.
Oh,
yeah.
Wow.
All right.
Where would that be? Nashville Studio B, maybe?
No, it's in New York. They did all they didn't go to Nashville till later. So that's
the Albert Wertheimer collection, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, it's funny that because I have this conversation with a lot of guitar players about that solo, and
which one, the first one or the second one?
Both. Both. And I can't remember who it was, but he's like, dude, you can't replicate that.
Yeah, especially the second one where he just kind of like,
the second one.
When he just kind of hits those open strings and just such attitude. I mean, no wonder he influenced guys like Page and Jeff Beck and Keith Richards. Like you hear that attitude, which you never really heard before. All the guys like Chet Atkins and all them, they were so clean and sophisticated. And this guy took all that, but just with such balls and attitude,
style,
style, just the swag, just Elvis's voice in that guitar. I mean, it's the coolest shit in the world. I don't care what anybody says.
Yeah.
You can't get any cooler than that. No way.
No way.
Yeah, he it's like you can look back at that era and, you know, name the 3 guys that changed guitar playing forever. You know, Chuck Berry and fucking Chet Atkins and or not Chet Atkins, but who's the guy that he stole or he covered why am I drawing a fart on this? Blue Suede Shoes?
Oh, Carl Perkins?
Carl Perkins, yeah. Carl
Perkins.
Perkins. And then Scotty Moore. It's like those 3 guys. It's like everybody talks about Page and Hendrix and Eddie and all that stuff, but you go back, if it wasn't for them, that fucking style.
Yeah, all those solos, man, incredible.
Yeah.
Just that those guys, especially the Sun stuff, you know, when there was just 3 of them, just making all that noise and him taking up all that space with you know, you know, just with his guitar. It's incredible.
Yeah, and that's holy shit, the game's over. The game's over.
You can tell Izzy's from Minnesota, can't you? It's got to be hockey, isn't it? We're like that. What?
Yeah, you listen to that Sun stuff, and there's a lot of people don't realize there's no bass in it because it's just Elvis and his acoustic, and then Scotty.
There's no drums. There's no drums.
That's right.
Yeah, there's slap bass.
There's slap bass, but like
Bill Black.
Yeah.
You know, like that. It's just him basically. You know, he's keeping the drum beat. You know.
Yeah.
So.
Just question real quick. Does anyone know what Scotty is playing on the Hound Dog track? The guitar.
What kind of guitar?
It's a Gibson, isn't it? It's a Gibson.
It's a.
I've got a computer in front of me.
It's like a oh man, Epiphone like made their version of it, but they call it like the Hellcat or something. I forget.
Is it a Gibson Super 400?
No, that's a 68 comeback guitar.
Is that an ES 295?
It might be. It might be. I should know this. I should really know this.
Yeah, you're the guitar player.
Yeah, it's one of those guitar geeky kind of things, you know. And the amp, I would love to know because the sound of it is just it's outstanding. You know, it's
right.
like,
it's an ES. I think it's an ES 295.
I know the amp is a Gibson, like the G2 or whatever they call it.
Hold on, let me just turn you around and look at my computer for a second.
Yeah, that's the one. That's the one that Epiphone.
Yeah, it's the 295. 295.
Going to the chat room really quick. Jeffrey White says Jeffro Lee Roth is here. I'm down with the king. Thank you. But the king always has a donut with his coffee, and my coffee is bourbon. I like to see that. Here's a good one. Joel says, first he says, Scotty used a Dumble amp for years.
Yeah, right.
But he also says the solo in Too Much, I think, kicks ass. Scotty hated it. Solo starts at 121, round 130. Scotty screws up but recovers. He wanted to redo it, but it was...
That's funny.
I thought fucking you were going to play that for us.
Yeah, I thought that too. I'm like, come on.
Right. So like that. I don't remember the rest though. Yeah. I did like a video of that a couple months ago.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, it's somewhere floating around.
What other Scotty solos stick out to you? I mean, let's stay on Scott for a little bit.
Mystery Train.
That's a big part of it.
Mystery Train. King Creole. I always loved the solo in King Creole. He starts like really high and just kind of same thing. Just
Jailhouse
Too Much. Yeah. Jailhouse Rock. Heartbreak Hotel, of course.
Yeah.
But Hound Dog and Too Much were always my favorites. Those were always number one. And I Want You, I Need You, I Love You. I always loved that one too.
It's funny because when I was learning those songs for that Black Leather Sit Down show, they're all the same.
Yeah.
It's all the same with different lyrics. It's fucking great.
Well, Izzy, try doing a backing track show, right? And then the first bit goes, do-do-do-do. And you're like, uh-oh, is this Blue Christmas?
Right. What song is that?
It's like...
I know. I have. Andre, what about you? What are some of your other favorite Scotty solos?
Well, you'd have to go like with the classics, Jailhouse Rock, Heartbreak Hotel. Those are and Hound Dog. I mean, nothing touches Hound Dog to me though. Those two solos, and the fact there are two of them that are just so brilliant. It's not, that is the top of the heap.
Plus,
what about James Burton?
What's that?
What about James Burton?
Oh, we'll get to that one.
We'll get into him in a second. But speaking of Hound Dog, how often, especially back then, do you have a song with two solos in it?
Yeah. Well, there was no midsection.
There's no bridge, no nothing.
Yeah.
No.
It was just so fucking simple. I mean, fuck yeah. You want to talk about James Burton? We can talk about James Burton.
Yeah.
Fuck.
I love James Burton.
Yeah. Probably my if I had to pick like my favorite all-time guitar player, that's the guy.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, that was the first music I heard. That was like that solo in CC Rider. Oh man.
Oh yeah.
Especially from the Aloha one. The Aloha rehearsal show, it's even better. It's like even more ballsy.
He let his hair down on that though, and literally let his hair down because he had his hair cut the next one, didn't he?
I think he was on some illegal substances too.
Some red wine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But I don't know if did any of you guys ever catch the shows that they did with Elvis on the screen and the band and
I went 13 times.
Oh dude, yeah. I went to like 5 of them. Oh god.
My mum would say to me, I know you're back in London. And I'm like, what are you talking about? She says, because I know that the Elvis concert's on, and I would always fly back and go and see it.
Oh, man, we went, it came to New York, it came to Radio City, and they did 4 shows. I went to all 4. But, like, the opening night, like, the crowd was going nuts. Fucking ridiculous. And I'm like, this is great. The guy's not even here. He's on a fucking screen. and he's getting a standing ovation, But, I mean, it was like, it was like, goosebumps the whole time. But like the original, the first round of shows they did, they had the whole band there. Like
first round was 98.
Nobody died yet.
First round was 98 because I couldn't afford to go because 98 I was I was born in 81, so 80. Well, I was 16, right? No, 17. I was 17 years old, and I couldn't afford to go because I was from quite a very working class family, and I didn't have enough money and stuff, Whatever money I did have, I'd spunk, And a guy said to me, his name was Ben, and he said, I can't go because my wife's sick. Can I give you some tickets? And I said, I can't afford to buy them off you, Ben. And he said, no, I want you to go. I know how much you would enjoy it. And he gave me the tickets. Yeah, he gave me the tickets. And oh my God, when 2001 started,
oh God,
the tears started. I was like, oh my God, all my life, I was like, just thinking, I'm never, ever
going to hear this. I know.
Right.
And you hear it, I was just like, oh, you're kidding me. And then the second half, they get so loud, and you got James Burton and Glenn Hard and Ronnie Tutt. And
those drums, man. As soon as those drums start, incredible.
Yeah.
I know my parents used to tell me, like the Madison Square Garden shows, if you listen to the afternoon one, because they released it too, the afternoon one, you can hear, like they kept the crowd really hot on that mix. And when he gets on stage, like you could tell the second he ends, it's like the crowd, it's distorted. I mean, it's just so freaking earth shattering. My parents were like, it's nothing compared to being in the building, just the sheer, magic of him walking on the stage, And I think that's what was it like, even just, seeing like the Aloha show when I was a baby and when I was a kid, he didn't even, he just held the guitar. He didn't even play it. Just the sheer image of him with the guitar in his hand was just like, that's it. That's it for me. That's all I want to do. Just hold the guitar,
Yeah.
So,
well, it's funny because so this band that I was friends with back home, way back in the day, they got this manager, and they were a 4-piece, and the singer didn't play guitar, and their manager's like, well, you should just at least hold the guitar like Elvis did, because Elvis never played guitar. It's like, whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa, time out.
One of the misconceptions,
Right.
And I think that's one of the things that really gets lost with Elvis's image is that he was a musician. He really was, and he was probably the best band leader there ever was. I mean, especially in
great
those
band
years, you know, because he had a 70-piece orchestra behind him with a conductor that had to really just play off of his moves, you know, to really understand what he wanted, you know. And I think that nobody does that, you know. So, you know, he gets, you know, when you have such an image like that, all the other things get talked about and all of this stuff. And, you know, he stole this music and he did this and he was bloated and fat and overweight. It's like, dude, this guy was one of the greatest band leaders ever.
Yep.
You know,
much like James Brown. Much like James Brown. They didn't have the musical knowledge, but they, you know, through sheer will and feeling, they definitely got across what they wanted vocally. I've seen many documentaries where Elvis would be, you know, he'd say, well, play it more like this, or you know, he'd hum a melody line or something like that. And he was a great band leader. Amazing.
Oh shit, going to the chat room again. Joel says, I was mistaken, sorry. Scotty used an Echosonic amp built by Ray Butt starting on May 24th, 1955. God bless you.
There you go.
Good to know.
Jeff, we'll get to this question later. We're not even gonna get into that now. We're still talking about the music right now. He's talking about Elvis and Anne Margaret and all that shit. We'll get into that stuff later. Second half of the show, we start talking about after he was dead and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I know exactly what you're saying. It's like Elvis. People don't realize that, you know, how much he produced and how much say, yeah, well, he didn't write songs. Like, yeah, you can say that.
He didn't have to.
Yeah, he made them songs.
Right, exactly. Exactly. Like, yeah, well, he just stole the black person's music, and no, he gave credit where credit was due. He was smart enough to buy the publishing for everything.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, his manager was smart enough to do it, you know. But yeah, I mean, I think that's another misconception about Elvis. He was those people. You know, he grew up poorer than most of the black families in Mississippi and Memphis. You know what I mean? So that was really his upbringing. You know, he was around all these great, you know, musicians and would spend time with them. I mean, that's, you know, you can't listen to him and not hear that what he's doing is authentic and you know, original.
Right. Well, I think they did a good job in that HBO series.
The Searcher.
Loved it.
Yeah, it was a great documentary. They did it right.
It was two parts, right? 2 parts.
Yeah.
That, and did you guys watch the Sun Studios? That was a show that was on
like CMT or something.
CMT, yeah.
Yeah, I saw a little bit of it. I didn't get to see much of it.
It was pretty cool. I mean, I'm assuming there was a lot of Hollywood, you know, writer
dramatization.
Yeah, because I mean, like they had, I think they had Blue Moon of Kentucky instead of That's All Right.
Right.
But maybe they could.
But they did a musical they did a West End musical in England, Jailhouse Rock, but they weren't allowed to use Jailhouse Rock as the song.
Of course. Well, you know, it's funny because I had the very first like TV meeting I had out here is like 6 months after I moved out here. One of the shows that I pitched was about Elvis tribute artists, and it was centered around Anthony because Anthony lived in that world, and he still does a little bit, but like and it was basically about all of the competitions and how it's basically toddlers and tiaras, except it's old fat guys in jumpsuits.
Yeah,
all the drama, it's the same. I mean, it's the same. And they're like, well, what about the publishing? It's like, ooh, yeah. That's where we're gonna run into trouble is with Elvis Presley Enterprises.
What's funny, I think what was it, Elvis on Tour, the original version of that movie started with him singing Johnny Be Good, and they lost the publishing rights to that for that and for Aloha from Hawaii, which I think they finally, on this last version of Aloha from Hawaii, they were able to get the publishing rights, but they had to open Elvis on Tour with Teddy Bear instead, and it was very awkward. It was
Yeah.
just very strange. Like that movie, like it's so captivating.
They
with them
cut a lot
singing
of
that
good
song.
stuff out of there, didn't they?
Oh yeah. There's hopefully one day we'll get to see, all of it in the best quality instead of the bootleg crap.
Well,
that we've been getting.
your friend Jorgensen, he has the best job in the world. That would be
Oh,
my
dude.
ideal job.
Yeah, incredible.
I'd like to listen to
incredible.
him between the takes,
Yeah.
If those tapes are still around,
They're still around.
I heard stories about Capitol Records when they were switching everything over to digital. There was they just said just throw everything out because they didn't think it was gonna be fucking needed at all. It was like, dude, we got Sinatra, throw it.
Right. No, Elvis's catalog has been pretty well maintained, and that's why they've been able to, start that label back in like 97, 98 or whatever.
The FTD.
They started,
Yeah.
And, he's been doing it right. Like they really, really, for the diehard fans and all this, stuff that they've, that the collectors and stuff want and everything. It's really been great. I have a bunch of those records.
Oh yeah.
Actually,
they're so good.
Capitol's archives have been pretty well kept. I mean, they kept my mom's album from 1968. We got those. We got those tapes. So
yeah, that's cool.
If they kept that album and that didn't sell at all, then I'm sure they kept Elvis's stuff.
Well, I tell you what, if you guys listening out there are like real fucking music geeks, sign up. You can sign up for fucking free for 3 months. To Sirius XM, the Elvis channel. Outtakes and deep cuts, and then you realize, okay, maybe everything Elvis didn't do was awesome.
You know what though? You can find so much stuff on the internet too. I mean,
oh yeah.
When the internet first came out, I didn't realize what it was supposed to be used for. I used it for listening to Elvis.
That's funny. Me too. I think the first things I bought on eBay were all like Elvis bootlegs. And
oh wow.
I found this dude, I don't know if he's still alive. His name is Larry Patrick, and he was the one that owned the ambulance footage of when Elvis died. He had like the actual
wow.
I
haven't seen that.
contacted him. Yeah, I contacted him and he just sent them to me. And at that time I was telling you I was always spending time at RCA and getting all these releases that they were releasing at the time, like way ahead of everybody. I would send them to him and he would send me like his like really low generation, like the CBS tapes he had before anybody else did. And they're like
with the numbers
quality.
Going across the screen. Yeah.
But his are like, I still haven't found anybody that has the quality that we had, but he was a great, like, that was like the first thing I did was search Elvis and I found that guy and I was like, this is great,
There's a great site. Can I plug a site? It's not really me plugging. I'm not getting anything out of it. It's called jordanselvisworld.com.
Yeah.
You know that one?
It's great.
Oh my God. And if you download like Real Play, you can listen to pretty much any Elvis concert all the way through. It's like,
wow.
That's what I spent my youth doing.
It was cool.
Right, Joe?
Yeah, totally. My parents were at the opening night, 1974 in Vegas when he switched the set up.
Oh, down in the alley, and he started with Big Boss Man.
Big Boss Man and Good Time Charlie's Got the Blues. They were there. And my dad used to tell me, he changed the show, and then the next night it just went right back to the thing. And
Critic slagged him off, didn't they?
He got freaked out.
I wish that, God, that was great material.
Well,
if you're talking
that guy
history,
Larry, Good Time Charlie's Got the Blues. He did. He never did that ever again.
Everybody
down in the alley.
Do you know I own the hand?
That's like one of my other favorite ones, man.
I love it.
That
and he
whole
took
album.
the middle verse out.
Well, he was like joking around with it and stuff,
Yeah,
but
the audio for Anthony cut out there. So if you guys missed that, he owns the handwritten lyrics.
The hand notes that Elvis used in the studio for Good Time Charlie.
Amazing.
Yeah,
they're on my wall. I'm not at my house, so I can't show you on the video.
I think I remember.
Oh, let's sing it.
Yeah, do it. Do it.
Everybody's gone away. Said they're moving to There's not a soul I know around. Everybody's leaving now. Some caught afraid, some caught afraid. Find the sunshine, leave the rain. They said this town will waste your time. I guess they're right, it's wasting mine. Some gotta win, some gotta lose. Good time, Charlie, got the blues.
the delay is so crazy.
Very nice. Very nice.
I know all that shit, man. All
Man,
like the...
I can see Joe and I just gonna have drunk nights now, aren't we? Over Skype or whatever.
Oh, dude, I know them all, man. Like that was the soundtrack to my childhood, man. That album, that was it, the Promised Land album. Oh,
yeah.
I still listen to that all the time. I think it's one of the greatest country albums ever made, and it's just so great. The musicianship and the songwriting.
Love Song of the Year.
Oh God, and Honky Tonk Angel. Oh man, all that stuff.
Is that song? Was it? First time I saw you, I knew I was hooked. Somebody other than me. That's on that.
That's on there. That's on there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we'll have to talk about
Love
that
Song
sometime.
of the Year. Mm-hmm.
Love that.
Yeah, so much stuff, man.
Oh yeah. Cheers.
Speaking of guitar and musicianship, make sure you guys check out beateramplification.com. You can see my beater head right behind me. I'm proud to be, their very first signed artist. And my TCB1, the Elvis Presley TCB1 will be out soon. These things are balls out. 100 watts of testicular fortitude, 3 channels, pull 2 tubes. You got yourself a 50 water. You got that old school Metallica tone, old school AC/DC tone, Kiss tone, and that old school clean ass Fender tone. TCB1 will have that old school Fender reverb in it too. So you can get those amazing Elvis Scotty Moore tones out of it as well. BeaterApplication.com. And also please go like their Facebook page. And our good friends over at Mackie, you want to get into home recording, you want to get into podcasting, everybody's doing it. Might as well hit up Mackie.com, MACKIE. Check out the studio bundles. Very affordable way to get into it for anything from the amateur to the pro. Check out Mackie.com. And I think, King, once we can all be adults again, come on out here. I guess I'm going to be able to put together a band for you too out here.
Yeah, I think we'll have fun, right?
Right,
That'd be a fun time.
Let's do it.
I need to make $1 over my plane fare.
We'll make it happen.
Right now, you could probably come here for like $12 or something. I'm
Yeah.
sure the plane tickets are like real cheap. Nobody wants to come here.
Yeah, right. Go to the chat room. First, Joel says, I've got 23 beers left. I'm definitely here for the Drunken Summit. That a kid. And he also says, good point on the publishing. The Colonel had the right idea with getting Elvis a piece of the publishing. He may have demanded too much, though, which is absolutely true, which cost Elvis the opportunity to record some great songs. I Will Always Love You, written by Dolly, is the big one that he lost out on. Yeah, and actually, it's funny, Bill Averia was on the show, and he was talking about that. I think that was one of the songs that he talked about where Elvis just wanted way too much. That Dolly said,
yeah. I mean, a lot of the great songwriters that didn't need an Elvis cut were probably like, it's all right, I'm good. You know, especially later on, I think, you know, when he wasn't selling what he used to sell, you know, a lot of the bigger writers were probably like, it's okay.
Right.
It's tough.
Right. Well, it's funny. The other story Billy Vera had 2 Elvis stories. He was talking about the day that he died, and because he was recording at RCA that day in New York, and they took a break, and everybody's freaking out. They're pressing everything at the time, and he goes, well, "What's going on?" I was like, "Well, Elvis died." It's like, "Oh, yeah, exactly." But Billy played on the what he called the worst pile of shit that Elvis ever recorded. Billy was the Billy did the demo for it, for Rubberneckin'.
Oh,
really?
man. I like
It's a
that
great
song.
I do too.
Yeah.
It's great.
I thought that was a great freaking song.
Right?
Come on, Billy.
Everybody gets up and everybody knows the right.
Come
What'd
on,
you guys
man.
think of the movie music?
I love it.
Some of
Not
it was
all of
good.
it. Some of it.
Some of
shit,
it was
obviously.
GI Blues. My favorite is GI Blues. I love that soundtrack. That's probably that and King Creole, but I mean GI Blues was like always my number one.
Yeah.
So.
But I like stuff like you get some real gems in between some of the mediocre stuff, right?
Yeah, yeah.
You know,
Little Less Conversation.
Oh, that was a movie song?
Yeah. That was Live a Little, Love a Little.
A little less, yeah. Live a little, love a little, yeah. 60s.
Love Me Tender.
Yeah.
Love Me Tender.
Love Me Tender.
Yeah.
That's a movie song.
Can't Help Falling in Love.
Yeah. Bossa Nova Baby. I always love that one too.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Fun in
Can't Help
Acapulco.
Falling
That's
in
like
Love.
probably my favorite movie of his.
Is it?
Mm-hmm. It's the one I can actually sit through the whole thing.
That's a tall order right there. Sit through the whole Elvis movie. That's.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that I could.
What about Change of Habit? That was a decent movie. That wasn't bad.
Rubberneckin'. That's where it came from.
Rubberneckin'. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a good one. Mary Tyler Moore.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. It's hard, isn't it? You know when somebody says, "What's your favorite Elvis song?" You go,
Nah.
and you can't think of a single Elvis song. It's like, okay. Yeah.
Nah. There's so many.
Did you know "Can't Help Falling in Love" was written by the same guy that wrote Louis Armstrong's "What a Wonderful
What a Wonderful World"?
Really?
Yeah. Yes, the James Bond theme. That was "What a Wonderful World."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Crazy.
The best James Bond, obviously, George Lazenby.
The OG.
The OG.
Jeffro Lee Roth, the voice and vocal phrasing, he was an artist of creation on that front, even when he didn't write the tune. Well, he didn't write any of the songs, so.
He did write one. "You'll Be Gone," it's called.
Really?
Yep. He wrote one.
And
go ahead.
On paper, he wrote "Don't Be Cruel."
Oh,
He's
yeah.
credited. He's credited for it. Yeah. Well, he didn't write it though. It was a shakedown.
Yeah. Yeah, but
Write a
apparently
word-
the one that he
write a
did
word-
write-
Write a word, get a third was the phrase of the day.
Yeah. I've been there, believe me.
Yeah. It's good work if you can get it.
Well,
yeah, right? Oh, shit. Joel's also saying the Vegas August 19th, 74 show that you were talking about.
Yeah.
You know, he goes, "I know the show being discussed. He opened with Big Boss Man, hell of a show.
Mhm.
2 days later,
Yeah.
returned with the same old set list."
Yeah.
Yeah, sounds kind of just like Kiss.
And he ended the season with a drugged up, drunken, crazy show.
Desert Storm.
Desert Storm, yeah.
Yep.
Where he's just, I think I sent you those, Izzy. I think I sent you both of them.
Yeah, you
like,
did.
Back in the day.
I know the speech.
Oh, dude. It's
From
it's
three
pretty
different
fucked up.
sources I heard I was strung out. I swear to God, hotel employees, Jack, maids, freaks to carry your luggage up the room. There are rumors, and it goes across town. I was strung out.
Strung out.
And then he ends up, pull your goddamn tongue out by the roots.
If you guys haven't heard it, go check it out on YouTube. It's called Desert Storm. It's his
it's
final
brilliant.
show of the
Only
of
Elvis
the
could get away
74.
with that.
Yeah, he was in rare form.
Is that the
Rare
one
form.
where he's like blah, 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 plus tax?
No, that's 77.
No, that was
That's
77.
CBS.
Oh, okay.
But this is crazy. He goes on these rants and these speeches, and he's clearly out of his mind.
Well, it started off where he's talking about, the movie magazines. I don't read them because they're all junk.
Mm-hmm.
And he says they said I got a punch, and he says I carry I can't remember the millimeter
Right,
gun. He
right.
says I carry this, and I have a bulletproof vest on. Oh, it's brilliant. It's only Elvis could do it.
Yeah. He's
And we all
talking
know he had
about like
problems.
there was like the gargoyles on the in the hotel in the showroom. He's fucking brilliant.
Then they
Yeah,
paid
it's
him
funny.
back.
I did an interview with Rudy Sarzo like in 2010, and I was in Florida, and I just started talking about it because it was going to be in the August issue of the magazine I was writing for, and obviously talking about Elvis that month or whatever, and my Graceland visit. And he said that he never went to Graceland because he doesn't like visiting like graves or people's homes that have passed on because he thinks it's sacred ground, yada yada yada. But he also said about Elvis, he's like, Elvis is the reason we have American Idol, because Elvis was the triple threat. He could sing, he could dance, he could act. I mean, he was the biggest, highest paid actor in Hollywood at the fucking time.
Yeah.
And the minute that they find the next Elvis, which they never will, all those shows will end.
Yeah. So there's only
Sorry,
one.
guys, I got to be back 1 second.
Yeah,
like
man.
John Lennon.
I have a
said
daughter
it,
that needs to be put to bed 1 second.
Go do your thing, brother.
Well, how about let's do this. Since Anthony's going to put his kid to bed, let's take a short little break. We'll come back and we'll talk about his last shows, his last years. We'll talk about the death. We'll get into the conspiracies that are just a blast to talk about. Fuck yeah, it's another fucking podcast. Elvis Week Edition. We'll be right back in 2 minutes, 2 seconds. All right, we are muted.
Rockwood Saloon Authentic Apparel takes rock and roll fashion to a new level with their tees and tanks for men and women. They also make custom shirts, jackets, vests, pants, hoodies, beanies, and more. The Rockwood Graphics Department can design anything from your logo, t-shirt design, promo posters, band swag, and printed at great prices. From tour shirts and custom stage gear to killer threads for the street to the stage, Rockwood Saloon has it all. Rockwood Saloon, authentic rock and roll apparel for stage and street. World tour tested for quality, comfort, style, and durability. Check them out at www.rockwoodsaloon.com. That's rockwoodsaloon.com.
If you need to promote your band or business, or just want to stylize, personalize, or customize your ride, check out vid-decals.com. Want to create and customize your own stickers representing your band, or make your own bumper sticker? Vid Decals can do it. All stickers are printed on quality vinyl and can be placed on any flat surface. Stickers are an affordable way to promote your band or business. Go to vid-decals.com to get started. That's vid-decals.com. vid-decals.com.
Retro Arcade brings Minnesota and surrounding areas arcade games from the days gone by. All of those great games from pizza joints and arcades are available in cocktail units and custom machines. Dozens of favorites from your youth in one machine to complete your game room or man cave. Retro Arcade also sells and services your favorite pinball machines. Find them at facebook.com/80arcade. That's facebook.com/80arcade. Retro Arcade. Your youth is just one click away.
Hey, what's going on? This is Tom Arnold. I like fat women and cocaine. And you're listening to Izzy Presley here on another fucking podcast. And I know Izzy from Cocaine Anonymous meetings. I've actually seen him at the meetings with Ace Von Johnson from, I probably shouldn't say this out loud, but Ace has got a bad coke problem. And his sponsor is Josh Todd from, and again, I shouldn't say this out loud, but Josh is his sponsor for Buck Cherry. He's addicted to upskirt porn. And they're both being sponsored by the Eagles. The whole band, the Eagles. Anyways, another fucking podcast right here with Izzy Presley, and call your sponsor. Fucking A.
Second half of the show brought to you by A&P Laser. Check them out, aplasers.com. You need something laser engraved, hit these guys up, especially if you guys are in the upper Midwest. In Minnesota, you have a sidearm, you want laser engraved. They are very good at it. Yes, they work a lot with the local police departments and getting their handcuffs and their fucking guns laser engraved. But these guys we're working with for a long time, and the new Roadie packs are available with the new logo. Yes, the new retro logo that's on the retro tees that are available. And Lori from Australia got one of those. It is on its way. Also be personalized with your name on it. APLaser.com.
and our good friend John Palumbo over at John Palumbo Design. You have a band, you have a business, you need a website built, you have a logo. He's going to be doing the Wildwood Tommy logo for us. Thank you, John Palumbo. Hit him up, johnpalumbodesign.com. We love us some John Palumbo. He is a great motherfucker and a very talented motherfucker. Hit him up, johnpalumbodesign.com. Back with Joe Augello, Andre Comeau, and world-renowned Elvis tribute artist Anthony Shore. Let's hold on, Joe. You were telling a story off there about That's the Way It Is.
Mm-hmm.
You want to share that with everybody, or was that meant for off the air?
No, it's cool. Yeah, I mean, that was, when Elvis died, the TV started. We had, oh shit, that was 1977. We had like one of the first VCRs ever, before the Betamax shit. Even my dad had, they were they're 3/4 inch tape, and so my dad has this ridiculous collection of all the old Donnie and Marie shit and all that stuff. So we would just tape everything that was music related. So when Elvis died, they played the '68 comeback special. They played Aloha from Hawaii. They did the '77 concert. But my dad was always like, they better play That's the Way It Is. He kept mentioning it, and they never played that one. My dad's like, that's the best one. He's like, your mother and me were there. We saw everything, and so I think it was about sometime in the fall, they had this big Elvis convention in New York at the New York Hilton. I was 4 years old, and we went, and they were showing That's the Way It Is, and so it was a big deal, and that's still, to me, that's my number one. I could watch that movie over and over again, and those songs on that record. But yeah, if you have, they put out a box set, a 3 CD box set, and you could hear my dad screaming on
really
live stuff. Well, there's one part he does Little Sister. He never played Little Sister really, up until
that
point.
Was it in this shirt or that shirt?
Oh man, I always wanted that black shirt, man. That's so cool. I have tons of pictures around here with the black shirt. That's amazing. But yeah, there's a point in the show where he's, and they cut it from the movie. But he sits down at his stool and he sings a bunch of songs with the Gretsch, with the Gretsch guitar, and he does Little Sister. And that was always my dad's favorite song. And you could hear when he says it, you just hear my dad clearly over everybody, just go So it's kind of cool.
The other guys here, what's your favorite special?
Comeback special.
Gotta be Aloha from Hawaii. Although I like the songs. I like the CBS special 77, of course. I like the 73, but I wish Elvis was doing the 77 songs in 73.
73, yeah.
But his voice was spectacular. But some of those notes in 77, you just
how great that was.
Fucking kidding me.
Yeah. That version of How Great Thou Art is mind blowing to me.
Yeah.
Say what you want about how he looked and
who cares? It's about the music.
Fucking sounded incredible.
Yep.
Hey. Of course, that's where he slurred the words on the "Are You Lonesome Tonight?" That's where he plus.
Do you think that was him being fucked up, or was that him just being Elvis?
I think he was nervous. A little bit of both, but I think he was nervous because of the way he looked, and I don't think he really wanted the whole world to see him that way.
Well, if you look at the CBS though, Joe, because you've seen the tapes, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's the 19th of June and the 21st of June, and they're putting together, and then you got the fans' comments. He's the king.
Right.
He's the king.
Right.
All of that. But one night he was so coherent and so amazing, and then the next night he's kind of like. He's like, it was funny. I don't wear makeup. You need to have that stutter going on. It's like
that was the second show. Yeah.
Omaha and Rapid City, right? Yeah.
And I think they did some of the talking in Sioux Falls or something like that. Yeah, it's he still sings great, man. You can't take that away from him.
No, we all know he had what problem he had, right?
Yeah.
It's full public knowledge now, and and well, he died 6 weeks later, didn't he? So it's
right.
So it's a bit of both, and but his voice, though, if we talk about his voice and think about the positive things, holy fuck, who can match that?
Yeah.
Right. Andre, you looked like you wanted to say something before these guys started going off on this.
Oh,
Sorry.
I was going to say, no, it's fine. I was just saying the opener of the comeback special, if
You're looking for trouble? Oh, man.
Great. I mean, that's just the coolest.
Yeah. That's just like,
uh,
that's just him saying, I don't care about the Beatles. I don't care about Led Zeppelin, whatever. I'm the coolest motherfucker that there ever was.
He was the king. He was the king, and he knew it.
Yeah.
And they knew it.
And they knew it. And they knew it. And they all worshipped him.
Yep. My parents, I think the opening night at Madison Square Garden, they were like 2 rows in front of John Lennon. Like he was there. David Bowie was there. They were all,
Oh, really? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I was in England. It must have been 15 years ago, and I was reading the paper, and it was an interview with David Bowie.
Mm-hmm.
And Bowie was saying that when he went to that concert, he had just finished Ziggy Stardust, and he still had the makeup on.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And he said that he walked up, like he was pretty near the front and everything, and he said, Elvis noticed me when I walked in, and he looked at him as if to say, sit the fuck down, boy. I'll show you how it's done. And that's David Bowie's words.
I love like those stories, man. There's one where the Eric Clapton story where he met Eric Clapton, and I think Elvis was in Memphis at the time, and Eric Clapton was in Memphis, and Elvis and his boys would go to the movies like in the middle of the night, and I guess he had his stepbrothers that were a lot younger than him, and they were like really into like what was going on in music, and I guess they loved Eric Clapton, and Eric Clapton reached out. He's like, I want to meet Elvis. So they bring him to the movie theater, and Elvis has no fucking clue who this guy is, and he's like, hey, he's like, I'm a big fan. He's like, thank you. He's like, what's your name? And he's like, oh, Eric Clapton. He's like, what do you do? He's like, I play the guitar. So he's like, you should meet my guitar player, James Burton. He's like, he can give you some lessons. So, which he probably should have.
Have you guys ever heard any of James Burton's solo stuff? Like more recently?
Yeah.
Not recently, I haven't. Is it good?
Yeah, I was working for Bug when his record, I think it was probably 2006 or 2007.
Mm-hmm.
Really good album. Good stuff.
That's cool. Well, they put him on the Ford versus Ferrari soundtrack, which was cool.
Right? Oh,
yeah.
Really?
Was it Susie Q?
It was.
Oh.
Nice.
His version.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's all instrumental. He put a record out in like 72 or something, and it's him doing all his greatest licks and stuff, and that's on there. And they put that on Ford versus Ferrari. So
do we know any of the names that were up for that?
I'm gonna watch that tonight now.
Yeah, it's a great movie too if you guys haven't seen it. But yeah. Like the car scene, they're cranking that. It's really cool.
Oh.
So,
do we know any of the names that were up for that gig when Burton got it?
What?
He was the one. No, Elvis called him himself. That was like his.
Oh, wow, so it wasn't like
He
audition.
asked Glenn Campbell.
What's that?
He spoke to Glenn Campbell, and Glenn Campbell said, "Elvis, look, I've just got famous."
He had no idea.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think they paid him $5,000 a week to he was the MD too for the band. So I guess he put the rest together. But thank God he got him.
Yeah, right. Right.
Another perfect match.
I always thought about it. It's like, I wonder who was all up for it. I mean, would have Cropper been up for it? Stuff like that. And how would it have sounded with Steve the Colonel Cropper,
Yeah. It wouldn't have had that fire. I mean, Cropper's like, he's got his bag, but I don't think he can do all that stuff that James did.
I got to say, I would have loved to heard Glenn Campbell play with him. I mean,
I know.
Right? A real badass.
Right?
I'll tell
Jerry
you,
Reed.
Jerry Reed. Yeah. Well, he's on those records. He's on a lot of those records.
So is Glenn Campbell.
Right. My first concert which was a week after Elvis died, was Glenn Campbell. And I got to meet him at the concert. He played at the Belmont racetrack by my house. And we were walking around before the concert, and there he was. And my parents were like, come on, take pictures with Glenn Campbell. And the first thing I said to him was, I was 4 years old. I was like, do you know Elvis? Did you know Elvis? He's like, yes, I did.
Yeah.
He was like, he was a great man.
I have to say, I got a chance to play with Glenn Campbell.
Oh, wow.
As I was playing with his daughter, was playing banjo for a time in my country band. And
she's great too.
She is. She's sweet and she's awesome. And we were just rehearsing at their house in Malibu, and Glenn walked in and picked up a guitar and just joined us, and I was just in awe,
Yeah.
And I started playing just any song that I could think that he would know. And we got to play, we played a handful of songs together, like Country Road, Take Me Home, Country Roads, and yeah, it was just so great. I mean, one of my favorite memories. As a matter of fact, there's a video of us all playing together on my Facebook page, at Glenn Campbell's house.
That's amazing.
Wow. It's a great memory.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah,
that's really, really cool. And I mean, another unsung hero, really, as far as guitar players go.
God, yeah.
Absolutely. I mean,
all
even
the famous things that he did.
Even in his diminishment, his guitar playing never left him. He was still an amazing player.
How was he when you met him? Was he still okay, or?
Well, I mean, it's not like we had any deep conversation. And music. It's funny, from what I understand about Alzheimer's and dementia, that music has a way of circumventing a lot of those detachments. And he was very much into as soon as he heard me play Take Me Home, Country Roads, I have such a distinct memory. He got really close to the guitar and just wanted to inhale it. I mean, I was just playing an acoustic guitar, and I was a little, taken back. But I mean, it was great having Ashley there to sort of it was the right channeling to meet someone like that, and it was a wonderful memory.
That's incredible, man. That's amazing. It's so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that kind of trumps the so last week we did the Canadian Drunken Summit, and Russ Dwarf was pulling out his Elvis shit, and he pulled out the lock of his hair. Glenn Campbell kind of trumps the lock of his hair.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I wish Russ would have joined us. Do you remember where you were when Elvis died?
I do. I was going to swimming class, and we heard it on the radio. I immediately I was 7 years old, and I started bawling and couldn't go to class. I don't think I even came out of my bedroom for 2-3 days. I was inconsolable.
Yeah. Well, I think the summer of 1977 in New York was really pretty fucked up. We had, we just had a blackout, and the Son of Sam shit was going on. So it was very, very heightened. And I mean, I was a baby practically, but I totally remembered. And my mom was making dinner. It was like dinner time. And I was staring at the Elvis tickets. And I was like, just waiting for dinner to start. And all of a sudden, my mom just dropped like the food, and she was like, "He's dead." And I was like, "Oh, the Son of Sam's dead," And she was like, "No, Elvis." And I was like, "What?"
Elvis can't die.
It was the worst. It was the worst. And especially we were so close to going to see him. Yeah. So I think it was either that night or the night after, they had like a big thing for him, like a big vigil, I guess, at the Nassau Coliseum, where we were supposed to go see him.
Oh, wow.
And nobody gave back their tickets. Nobody wanted a refund. So it was
how much were the tickets, if I could ask? Do you remember?
I'll tell you right now. Wait, I think I have the picture on my phone. I'll tell you I'm
Yeah,
sure
probably
they
like
were.
$6.
Yeah, they were definitely under $10. Here it is. Let me see.
What a time.
Crazy, isn't it?
Yeah,
What a
right.
time.
Oh wait, no, they were $15. $15.
That was a
That's a
lot
high
for a
ticket.
concert back
Yeah,
then.
Yeah.
yeah. Considering I saw Van Halen on the 5150 tour for like $16. So
Right.
yeah, it's 77 to 86. So I can't share this on the screen, right? Like I can't. Only you can do it, right? Izzy? I just
yeah.
sent you a picture of
Yeah,
the
let me
ticket.
see if I can
Oh yeah, I
I
want to
just
see
texted
those.
to you.
see if I can
I
do
have
this.
my dad sent me like a blurry picture. It's the ticket and his autograph in the napkin.
Oh, I'll take the napkin.
Share
I know, right?
screen. Let's see. Boom. Okay. Well, actually, I just shared it so everybody can share it. But okay, let's just do this, and then
There it is.
Nice.
do that.
Oh my god.
So great.
Yeah.
God,
So you
that's
can see
amazing.
it says on there Jackie Yu. He was starting to write a note to Jackie Wilson, and he turned it around and just wrote his name on the napkin.
God, that's fucking
So,
amazing.
So that's
Yeah.
Elvis wrote Jackie U.
Yeah.
Wow.
Whose cigarette burn is that?
I have no idea. So yeah,
That's
so
pretty
that
cool.
was it, man. That was it.
Yeah, that's badass.
That
Dude, that's
is.
killer.
Mhm.
I want to get into your famous Elvis death conspiracies, and this is
He's
one of my-
dead.
this is one of my favorites. So hold on, Anthony, we didn't get to your answer about where you were when Elvis died or what you remember.
I was born in 1981.
Okay, you weren't even alive.
You could skip me.
You weren't even alive. I thought you were an old fucking professional. All right, go fuck yourself. So one of my favorite ones is one that I heard actually not too long ago. I mean, I was working with this guy who was working on this movie called The Truth About Elvis. And basically, it was a story of him going to Memphis to find out what really happened. And the movie never came out. I saw the movie, but it never got released. And this actually wasn't in the movie because there's some other good ones in there that we'll get into. But this one was talking – I can't remember where I heard it, but they were talking about how Elvis was going to split with the Colonel. And he was going to lose all the weight, and he was going to do another comeback because it would have been in 78. So it would have been 10 years since that comeback. And because the Colonel had such a stake in the King, that the conspiracy was that the Colonel had him killed.
Nah. Colonel liked money.
Yeah.
Yeah, but see, that's the thing is like, either
He was
lose it
gonna leave him.
or he dies, then all of a sudden you're still in with the contract and you get still 50% of everything.
I think that contract was so tight as far as if Elvis died, he'd still get his cut and probably more.
Okay.
Or if Elvis left him, there would be, because at one time I think they had some big fight in Vegas, and he was like, I quit, and he's like, hold on, and he went and got a tablecloth. Yeah, and he gave him a bill. He's like, this is what you owe me, if you want to leave, go ahead.
But I think it was only $1 million. He should have just gone, go fuck yourself, here's $1 million, and just gone clean. But you got to think though, he was a real poor kid that got made a megastar, one of the richest guys on the planet, from his talent, but talent only gets you so far.
Right.
This guy was a fucking genius.
Yeah.
Could skyrocket him and make him like the world's most.
But you think about it.
After any of his money,
you think about it. I mean, at that point, it's no secret that the reason Elvis had to work so much is because the Colonel had so much gambling debt.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
If that workload hadn't have been what it was.
Yeah, but he was only 40. If you think about
healthy.
in my opinion, it's like, yeah, he's only 42.
Yeah.
It wasn't like he was like 75 and being made to work a couple of, you have to work 2 hours
Right.
tonight.
Right.
Oh,
Mhm.
sorry, you have to work 2 hours tonight for $1 million.
No.
You know, like you get some of the stars now and they go, I've got a sore throat. Get on the fucking stage and do your job. You got 60,000 people.
They don't
out
even
there
have to
waiting
sing.
for you to sing.
Yeah.
They don't even have to sing.
Yeah.
Believe me, they're not singing.
I tell you, when I watched this film, they had the autopsy, and the thing that they said in the autopsy that actually killed Elvis was because of the barbiturates and all of the drugs, that he got so constipated that the reason he died is because he was on the shitter and he was pushing so hard that's why he had the heart attack and the stroke at the same time.
Terrible. You know, I one thing I learned on that documentary on HBO was that the Colonel was he a felon or
yeah?
So,
he was illegal alien.
He was
He
illegal.
was a legal alien.
He couldn't travel internationally. That's right.
Right,
And so Elvis never got to tour internationally.
Yeah.
And that's just criminal. I mean, when I think of the unconscionable contract that he was locked into and what the standards are now, he would never be forced to live out those terms, considering, you know, how hamstrung he was in so many ways because of that contract.
But there was no template though.
Right. He was the first one.
Yep.
Yeah,
He
was
didn't
the
even know.
template.
Yep.
He didn't even know that was the case. You know, had that been, you know, had he been privy to that, he probably would have left him right away. You know, but to think that he did all that stuff and never left the frickin' country, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's amazing. You know what I mean? He like just the satellite thing alone, you know, was groundbreaking.
Right.
But I mean, he never left the U.S. You know, he never
Well,
did a
did.
world tour.
There was a couple Canada shows.
Right.
Yeah.
But
just imagine. I mean, how big he is. I mean, still to this day worldwide. And Anthony, I mean, you doing all those competitions and going to Elvis Week and seeing people from all around the world.
I was going to go this week. I just cancelled it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's not worth it.
Yeah,
you know,
you
the
pussy.
COVID and stuff. Nah.
Well, actually, you know, if you think about it, it could have actually added to the mystique, the fact that he was so inaccessible, and you know, that just adds to an artist's mystique and mystery. So it may have actually worked out in his favor in some way, but maybe not. I mean, he could have probably been a much bigger star worldwide had he been able to tour.
Elvis could have been a much bigger star.
Yeah, right.
You know?
Well,
yeah. No, I get what you're saying.
It could have sustained him, I think, for a lot longer. You know, I think that if when he returned to live performing, you know, probably the Vegas stuff would have probably stopped. You know, and it would allowed him to go. You know, the whole world came to him. That was the other brilliance. You know, even if you watch like the '77 special, you have people from Scotland. You know, like the Elvis Scotland fan club. You know, and all these people from around the world making these, you know, pilgrimages out to the U.S. to go see him. So if they were spending that money to come out here, God knows what he could have made out there.
God, I mean, you think of the nights that the Beatles did at Budokan, then Kiss broke that record. Just imagine.
You had to put that in there.
It's true. I mean, because, you know, Gene doesn't let you forget it.
Right.
Imagine the run that Elvis could have did in fucking Japan.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there's
Wembley
stories,
Stadium.
you know, all these stories afterwards. Wembley Stadium, they said that they were going to book it 32 consecutive nights. Wembley Stadium.
Jesus.
But that's all hearsay, isn't it? There was never anything like. Well, I
It's
bet
tough.
he would have sold it out.
Oh, of course he would have. Of course. No.
Hold on.
It's
I'm
crazy.
gonna keep talking. I'm gonna Google something.
when then everybody stops talking.
Yeah.
I think I need some more rum. Some more Sammy Hagar rum.
Drink that rum.
Yeah.
I met Priscilla Presley once at the Restoration Hardware in Beverly Hills.
Oh, really?
You know, it's probably about maybe 7 years ago.
Yeah.
And you know, she looked amazing. What is she, 90 now? I mean, she looked amazing. And you know, you couldn't help but you could not take your eyes off of her, for one. And immediately, of course, I knew who she was. And I didn't, you know, I didn't.
Did she have somebody with her, Andre?
You know,
Like bodyguard, I mean.
She must have. I mean, I don't know. I was just too busy drooling. I mean, you know, this is Elvis's wife. I mean, you know, and I'm not someone who really likes to, who would really approach someone like that. But I had to say something. You know,
Yeah, it's a once in a lifetime opportunity.
Right. I mean, honestly, all I said was hi.
Yeah.
It's just, and she knew I knew who she was, and that was basically it.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I spent some quality time with some of those people, and I signed a confidentiality agreement, but I befriended at the time Lisa Marie's husband, Michael Lockwood. And we became friends. I got to go to Lisa's house and, you know, hang out with them. And they played the House of Blues, like on one of her tours. And I went, and backstage, you know, we were all hanging out, and there's the whole clan, man. Priscilla, Jerry Schilling, and Joe Esposito back then, you know, and I'm like, and they have no clue anything. I would never tell them.
Yeah, you knew.
I never told Michael, like, hey, you know, I mentioned something to him once, and I was like, oh, crap. You know,
don't throw yourself under the bus.
Yeah,
You're in there.
yeah. So if there's any conspiracy theories, there's one, but I'm not even gonna tell it. But I think he's dead. I think he's dead. Yeah, we'll talk about it off camera.
I know he's dead, but I'm just saying the conspiracy theories are fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this one made me think. It totally made me think, and I was just like, no way. But for another time.
Look, another good one I heard was
Joe and I are just going to nip off for 5 minutes.
Oh, he'll tell us off the air.
Absolutely.
And we won't be recording. Scout's honor.
Yeah, sure.
No, I wouldn't do that to you. The other fun one that I heard was that because Elvis was working with the government, and him and his dad were like trying to bust this like Colombian
federal agent.
Yeah, federal agent trying to come
John Burroughs,
Colombian ring or Cuban ring or something like
bollocks, that. Isn't it?
It's
all bollocks.
And they're
That's
using
a very English word, isn't it?
Yeah, they were using the Lisa Maria's collateral, yada yada yada.
Yeah.
And he was supposed to testify because they busted him, and he was supposed to testify against them. And
that's all bollocks, isn't it?
Well,
yeah, I know,
look,
but
if he didn't show up when his daughter married Michael Jackson, I don't think that.
Right. Well, he may be.
I don't think we'll ever.
He may have died.
Forgot about that.
Right. But they said that he was supposed to testify against these people that they busted, and when he got home, he found one of Lisa Marie's teddy bears on the counter with the neck slit, and that's why he disappeared. But I mean, look in that movie, and God, I wish it would have been released because they did talk about a lot of this stuff.
No, but there's one called the Elvis Files by somebody called Gail Georgia
Brewer. Yeah, she wrote that book. She wrote that book, Is Elvis Alive?
And I only got conned by it because I was about 13 years old.
Mm-hmm.
But now it's like I've grown up, and like you, Joe, and everybody, we've had our Elvis encounters and stuff like that. No, he died. He was a drug addict.
Right. Well, her story was just was so made up. I remember like when I was in high school, she was on like Regis or something, and I mean, it was just like, yo, get her off, because this is a bunch of BS.
Well, look, the cool thing that was about this movie, and this is why I wish it would have came out, is because they debunk a lot of the conspiracies. I mean, they have the guy that they hired to rob the grave. The reason they hired him to rob the grave is so they could move it onto Graceland. And they hired him to get caught, you know? And it's just shit like that. It's like,
well, that might be it. That's quite a good one.
And they spelled his name wrong on the gravestone. Yeah, he's dead.
Yeah, he's dead.
Yeah, he's dead. Here's to the king.
Yes.
Here's to my hero. Seriously.
Hold on.
We all love him.
Even if he did fake his death, by now, he's probably dead.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. he's probably for real dead. Okay, what about like the Elvis like biography movies?
Oh, the best
Kurt
guy
Russell.
that ever played Elvis. No,
Kurt Russell.
Michael
Russell.
St. Gerard.
Oh, the TV series?
Yeah.
Was that the TV series? That was good. I loved Kurt Russell.
I like Kurt Russell too, but when he did that, when that Michael St. Gerard played the young Elvis, oh my God, he was brilliant.
He was good. He was good.
Yeah. And my favorite scene out of any of them was with Elvis and me when I can't remember his name now.
Oh, that guy looked nothing like Elvis. That was almost as bad as Don Johnson. Don Johnson played Elvis.
The Beauty Queen. Remember that?
That was terrible.
But the scene he did, which was brilliant, right, in Elvis and Me, is when he goes to see Priscilla, and he says, you know, I wear some of these suits and they're 200 pounds, and he says like that, and he says, goes to the door, and he's, do me a favor, put your arms around me. I just want all the guys to see you. Put your arms around me. And he gets in the car, and he says, and the guy's supposed to be Joe Esposito, and he says, is she coming back? And he says, I don't know. And the tears roll down his face, and then I wish I was. And the actual funeral footage comes on, and you're just
oh man,
Jesus.
That's the best scene out of any of them.
I like the Kurt Russell one when he's making his mom's making him a sandwich. He's like, more mayonnaise, mama, more mayonnaise.
I haven't seen that in a long time. I have to watch that again.
Oh, dude, this is my favorite.
I'd like to also add Val Kilmer in True Romance.
Oh, True Romance.
Oh, yeah.
That's a good one.
He did a good one. Yeah, Don Johnson gets the worst one.
Oh, yeah.
That was terrible.
How cheesy was
He
that?
didn't even try. He didn't even, he was like, you know, nobody's going to see this movie. I'm just going to put this, I'm just going to talk like, you know, Crockett.
Look, the opening Elvis scene in that is when he walks into the movie theater, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he's got that shitty cape on.
It's so
just like, oh, God.
Dude, it's so ironic that we're talking about this today because last night I was watching South Park, and it was the one where Butters had to go to Hawaii to go to the homeland to get his to do the ceremony gimmick. And it was basically the premise of this whole thing was that it was just a bunch of people from like regular land America that had rewards cards in a resort, and they kept saying this is their homeland, yada yada yada. So and Kenny had to go with them because they thought Butters was drunk at the airport, you know, for a fucking fourth grader. And they sent Kenny out to do this thing to say if he can actually stay, you know, in the resort and be one of them. And he got lost, and he didn't. And he ended up in this fucking this empty resort that they said you can't go in there because that place is taboo. You know, it's empty, it's old, it's a ghost town. So Kenny ends up in there, and he goes down in the basement, and there's the ghost of Elvis. And the whole gimmick of this was that they were fighting the American government to keep them out of their resort because they wanted to keep the resort for themselves. And they ran out of their Hawaiian drink, and they had everything to make that Hawaiian drink in this fucking basement that Elvis brought Kenny to. And it was just so ironic if this is how it worked out. But I want to get back to this point that that one of the comments. Let's see where. Let me scroll up to it.
I think Elvis would have found like some of the South Park stuff funny. He loved Monty Python,
God,
and Peter Sellers.
He loved Andy Kaufman too. He loved Andy Kaufman's impression of Elvis. No,
yeah, I think you'd have a good laugh at some of the stuff.
Here's a point from way early in the show, and I wanted to wait for this. If Elvis left Priscilla for Aunt Margaret, how would his career had changed, good or bad? Different day, age then. Curious if it would have been bad PR in those days or no big deal because it's Elvis. Seemed like Ann was at least the second love of his life. That couldn't be back then, but it was so obvious and is still hot. I'd eat it. Did she die?
No, she's alive.
Oh,
well, Sinatra married he had 4 wives.
Right.
Back then, it didn't really do much to his career.
Right. Well, hold on. Let me ask you this: how much do you think? Because it's under my belief that Priscilla was the love of his life, and losing her, I think there's 2 things that affected Elvis.
I don't know, because he was with Linda Thompson.
Linda.
Right, which I tried to get on the show. Which she liked the post and never got back to me.
Oh.
But, that would have been great.
But
we'd have been ass kissing a bit more, though, wouldn't we?
Well, yeah, but then we could have got hee-haw stories, too, because she was on hee-haw.
Yeah. And Bruce Jenner stories.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. She was talking about that, and I think she was talking about it in her book, that even back then she knew he wanted to be a woman.
Yeah, she thought he was cheating on her. And I guess they had a guest house, and she found lipstick and everything, and she was like, she was like gutted. And then he walks out like, hey. I should say this, Robin's dad, Alan.
Yeah.
He was really close with Bruce Jenner. And I got some funny, interesting stories about that.
Off the air type stuff.
Off the air. Yeah, he didn't have his meat and 2 veg between his leg, would you?
No, but to me, I think the 2 major things that were the demise of Elvis was his mom dying and losing Priscilla.
Well, he died 20 years after his mom. It's like.
Well, yeah, but
if you've lost a parent,
his mom was what kept him in check.
Well, you know what? I think the whole thing with Priscilla, maybe not have been so much that she was the love of his life, but I think that he couldn't stand the fact that she left him for another man. Losing. He's Elvis. He's the best looking guy in the world. That's what the guys used to say. The Mafia guys were like, even when he was, at the very end, those last concerts, he'd get his stuff on and you look at himself and he goes, I'm the best motherfucking looking guy in the world, And I think for him to lose a woman to another guy was probably worse than losing the love of his life, So I think that was probably a bigger blow to him,
Well, but I read Kathy Westmoreland's thing, and she was saying she lost her virginity to Elvis, and then when she brought in a guy, I think it was a construction worker or whatever. After he had slept with somebody, it was she was his property.
Yeah,
that's the way. That's the kind of thing,
Yeah.
So his ego
Same with Linda too. When I think Linda was talking to his keyboard player one night, at the house, when it was kind of almost over.
Oh, David.
I think and they started dating, a little bit afterwards, and he was, killed him.
Yeah, well, I mean that's fucking breaking guy code.
Yeah,
start doing a guy in the band.
Your friend's ex-girlfriend, do you? It's just go and choose one of the other billion women on earth.
Right. Andre, you look like you're bubbling to say something.
Oh no, I'm just enjoying the. I mean, I get it, right? I mean, if you think about what Elvis, what really did him in, I mean, I don't think anyone could argue that the drugs really were the thing that, I mean, yes, they literally killed him, but it was his addiction and sort of the need for that, and it it caused his weight to balloon, and and all of it, you know, I mean, it was just bad news, and pills aren't good for anybody. I mean,
Right.
And you know, the fact that they were prescribed by a doctor made him think that they were okay.
Right.
And it's the problem that, you know, we're seeing, you know, now with the opioid crisis. You know, people think that, you know, they're prescribed by a doctor, it should be fine, but the truth is they're worse than the street drugs that you can pick up on the corner.
Yeah, speaking of addiction, I need a glass of wine.
Exactly.
It was a similar story
Cheers.
with Prince. It was kind of the same.
Oh, absolutely.
Pretty much the same. You know, the polypharmacy, you know. And that was, you know, that was sad. That should not have happened. You know?
Prince, Tom Petty, Michael Jackson. I mean, all of these guys were taking these prescribed drugs, and the worst thing you can do.
Dude, that's why I just stick with the Sebastian Bach. Dude, there was Jack Daniels and cocaine.
Yeah, I guess the '80s guys got a little smarter with their their choice of drugs.
'90s guys, not so much.
Well,
that blended. Dude,
you know, I won't spend. I just watched this documentary about Kurt Cobain called something in bleach or something, and it was soaked in bleach or something. Yeah.
That's the lyric, anyways.
Yeah. So it was very interesting, their take on everything. It was the private investigator, I guess, that Courtney Love hired, and basically putting it on her, you know. But yeah, it's all of that.
Yeah, Joel checking in again, and thank you, Joel, for all the info that you've given us. He says when Joe Esposito told Ann about Elvis's death, he told her, "Don't come; it will be a madhouse." Ann replied, "We're coming." She made the trip. When she arrived at Graceland, she and Vernon embraced. Quote: He must have copied and pasted this from somewhere, but God bless you for doing it. There's so much to say. Recount, she recalled, but instead we cried, Vernon said softly. He was so proud of you. 3 months later, Elvis's father and Colonel Parker asked her to host a 2-hour Elvis NBC tribute. Memories of Elvis. She described it as one of the most difficult, wrenching jobs she had undertaken.
That was the one with the '68 comeback special and Aloha from Hawaii. That was like the first times I saw that stuff. I remember that. Well, do you guys know who the first person to come to Elvis's funeral was? And they had to like keep him outside. James Brown.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
So did he showed up. Did he?
Yeah, he showed up first, and they were like, you know, he showed up before everybody else. He was like, I just want to see him.
Oh wow.
Dude, so here's another conspiracy about it that they talked about, and I don't think they debunked this in the film, that they ordered the coffin ahead of time because it took 6, 7, 8 guys to carry that thing, and they said the reason that they had that many people is because there was an air conditioning unit in it. Now you think that's fucking ridiculous?
Or it's like what is supposed to be like a wax dummy?
Yes, a wax dummy, and because it was middle late August in fucking Memphis, you know.
Right, they had to keep it cool.
You had to keep it cool, and there's people that said that they could see it looked like it was sweating.
Right,
and they had.
I have to say,
they had
that
put the
picture of
sideburn
him
back on.
That does not look like him in that coffin.
No, it doesn't. But
looks like somebody completely different. But
if you did fall smack on your face, maybe you break your nose. Because he had that perfectly straight nose, didn't he?
No, Anthony, it wasn't that. It was because he looked thinner. He looked more like 68, 1970.
Yeah, that was the thing. He looked slimmer to me.
And the other thing that they talked about was his hands and his fingers. And I don't know if maybe it was because of the makeup and, you know.
Oh, we never saw that, though, did we?
And postmortem that they said that
he had massive hands, though, didn't he?
Elvis's hands were all beat the fuck up from doing all the karate and all that shit and hitting stuff. But they said his hands in the casket were like just perfect.
This is fucked up.
I'm just telling you.
I
What
know.
fucking conversation is this?
I know. I try not to think about that stuff.
Everybody was kung fu fighting.
Oh God! I actually bought that stupid movie, the Gladiators movie. It's just like him doing karate.
I haven't seen all of that. I've seen some of it.
Man.
But
I've never seen it.
it's on YouTube, I think, isn't it?
I'm sure.
Yeah.
Oh, Joel says he still has the memories of Elvis recorded from NBC on beta. Nice. You're an old fucker like us. I love it.
Yeah, we had those 3/4-inch tapes. They were like massive. They were like this big.
Right. Well, I tell you what, let's do some last thoughts here. Joe, you want to start? Is there anything left you want to say about the King?
Me?
Yeah.
I mean, if it wasn't for him, none of us would be here. None of us would probably own a guitar, you know. I mean, I'm sure someone would have come along, but thank God it was him that did it, you know, because the attitude and the swag and just there was only one guy that could have done it.
Yep. Mickey Rourke said it best. He's more famous than anybody that's been famous.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
John Lennon said it before there was Elvis, there was nothing.
Yep. Anthony, being the Elvis tribute artist that you are.
But same as Joe, really. But I loved him since I was a kid, and I've met so many nice people. And I seriously think that pretty much everybody that I know, except for my immediate family, is through Elvis. How do I know you, Izzy? How do I know you, Joe? How have I met you, Andre? Everybody that I've met in America is through Elvis. My first wife was through Elvis. My second wife was through Elvis because you asked her to take photos of me. Right? My daughter is a product because I met somebody through Elvis. Everybody that I have met in my life is through Elvis, and I thank him for that. Cheers. TCB.
TCB.
Cheers. TCB.
Yeah.
I'll just say that you know, I love and in that same spirit, I love what Ringo Starr said when they said, "What do you say when people say that you're just four Elvises?" And he goes, "Well, it's not true.
Not true.
It's not true." I mean, the greatest. I mean, that's the greatest. It's so great, so iconic, and he's right. You know, I mean, like we all are just emulating Elvis.
Absolutely. Yeah. And that is why Ringo is my favorite fucking Beatle. God bless him. All right, so at this point, I would hit the outro music on the YouTube. You will be hearing the outro music on the live stream right now. You are not going to hear the outro music because at the end of the show, I'm going to play again this week my version of 10 New Years that I did with Steve Feckety, Derek Frank, Mike Bennett, and Katja Reicherman and Tyson Leslie. But as we're going away, people want to find you guys online. You got anything to promote? Now is the time.
Look at Elvis. Go look at Elvis.
Yeah, tonight's not about us. It's about Elvis. Go listen to the Desert Storm concert.
Yeah, Desert Storm.
There you go. All right, make sure you hit up all the social media at Real Izzy Presley all across the board. Thank you, Joe Augello. Thank you, Andre Comeau. Thank you, Anthony Shore, for finally coming on the show. Finally had a reason to bring you on. T-shirts are available. Shop all that shit. And I'm just going to say this right now because it is the Drunken Summit. Get the shot up. Hashtag because the king.
Because the king.
Because the king.
CB.